You're listening to the Chronicles of Living podcast, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. Now let's talk.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. On the road of life, you can't stop. You can't stop moving. Keep move. Keep that pace. You switching to gear. Let's go as we climb up the hill. Don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working. It's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady. Don't watch the clock go round, cycle.
Greetings, my visionary dreamers. How is everybody on You Can Do It Wednesday? This is ADionne. Listen up to Torelli and a Fuse.
We are learning, always turning later. Cannot stop the time. Always merging into lanes that better suit us as we ride. Switch it up. Switching to gear, let's go. As we climb up the hill, don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working, it's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady, don't watch the clock go round, cycle.
As I said, this is ADionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from the world, from yourself, from some real bullshit. And this is Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know us, extraordinary folk, doing the damn thing the best way we can. And today's topic is, how can changing old habits benefit you? How can changing old habits benefit you? So many ways changing old habits can benefit you. This is one of those days that, of course, as I've had many times before, the topic, I had many choices to pick from, and none of them were resonating with me. I sat down, I went through my list of topics, and it was just like a blank, like no feeling towards any of them. And therefore, I had to go in my meditation mode and see what came out. And this is what came out. Basically, talking to you guys about changing old habits. And of course, in case you're just tuning in for the first time, Chronicles of Living is just simply a show for what I said in the beginning, for everyday people. I mean, there's so many podcast shows out here that focus on celebrities and people that's already rich, and allowing the rich to kind of let you into their life as to how they became rich, or shows about TV shows and the thoughts of TV shows. Everything is about everybody else, or about big things, basically. But when I researched podcast shows, I didn't really hear too many shows that was just talking to us, just about everyday life and about how to navigate through life, and how, certain attitudes that we have, or certain thoughts and mindsets that we have, can benefit us or not. different tactics to take to create a better life for you. Yes, there are podcasts, motivational podcasts out there, but I keep it all the way, as they say in Georgia, trill. I talk to y'all about my life. I expose the things that I went through, bad and good, my ups and downs. And I do that because I realize we all have ups and downs. I realize that even the rich, even the celebrity has ups and downs. But because they have arrived to a certain status in money, we look at that and we say, oh, they got it all together. Oh, I would love to have that life. I would love to have that lifestyle, And we think because they have reached a certain status and wealth that for some reason maybe they're better than us. Some of us think that way. I don't. I believe that we are all celebrities in our own right, and we are all rich. We are all rich if we look at the trueness of being rich. Rich is not all about money. Being rich is about overstanding, because y'all know I don't want to say understanding. We want to overstand things. The richness is things in your life that causes you to be maybe happier than the next person. Realizing who you are when other people don't. Appreciating your family members, your friends, the people that really care for you. And being able to acknowledge that. To me, in my opinion, that's being rich. Because even the celebrity and the so-called wealthy, some don't have those qualities. Some don't know how to appreciate even where they are. The opportunities that has come across their path, And sometimes because we have arrived to a certain status in our life, or even, I'm not even talking about just the rich and the wealthy, I'm talking about the middle class. I don't want to say poor because I don't believe nobody is poor except for if you're poor in your mindset. If you appreciate what you have right now, again, that is a way of being rich, because there's always somebody that's worse off than you, no matter how low you think you are, no matter how, much you think you're lacking. There's always somebody that's worse off, unfortunately. But that person that's worse off can really look at it and be happy with their life and be content with what they have and appreciate who they are and know who they are and know that their situation as it is in their present moment does not identify who they are. And, so when I talk about how changing your habits can benefit you, that is one of the main things that I'm talking about. A lot of people have the habit of believing that if they don't have all the things that they believe they want in life, that they're not who they really supposed to be. Let me say it that way. When all in all, you are who you are supposed to be. You just have to figure out the little tiny components that make you, all the little. It's almost like I always say, we are computers almost. Like we get information downloaded to us day to day, but it's what we do with that information. We all can have the same information downloaded to us every day, but because we are individuals, we will choose to do something different with the same information, and therefore we will get a different result. So you can have someone that decides that, okay, my life is not moving the way I would like it to move. So let me examine what is it that's moving for me and what is it that is not. What is it that I'm doing that every time I do this thing, it causes me to meet people that are like-minded, or people that can add to my life? Or what is it that I continue to do that might push people away, that might make people not want to offer me an opportunity that I know in my heart I deserve, or a place that I believe in my heart I belong? Why isn't it that when I seek out these opportunities, or I seek out the people that I believe can add to my life, why is it that it doesn't work out? Maybe it's because you have some habits that you need to change. Maybe it's your attitude. Maybe it's that you're a closed-minded person. Maybe it's that you think that you know it all. Maybe, it's just so many things that once we get honest with once you get honest with you, and you look in the mirror and you start asking yourself the why, how, and when questions, and you really be honest with yourself. You look at your past relationships. You look at the new relationships. You examine how you relate to them and how they relate to you and why they relate to you in that way. Sometimes we just need to change the habit of observation, not of just people, but of ourselves, And when I say change that, in that can be learning how to listen more. I talk a lot, and everybody knows this, but people, they just find it amazing when I remind them of things that they told me years ago, or remind them of a situation that we might have been in together years ago. They're amazed at that because they're like, oh wow. A lot of times people think because I talk a lot that I'm not listening, but I listen more than sometimes the people that just listen. Because when I listen and I'm analyzing, I'm really observing the person's, emotional state, or their body actions and movements, and all of those things matter. The way their eyes open or squinch, or all of these things matter. And when you master that, this is how, when you look at other people and their habits, sometimes you can question yourself and say, wow, this person might have this habit and I'm really not turned on by that. And sometimes you could just look at yourself and say, you know what? What is it about me that probably can be a turnoff to others, And again, it's all about being honest with yourself. If you don't be honest with yourself, you will never arrive to that point of change. You will never get to the benefit that change of that old habit has to offer you. This is where we lose out because we don't want to be honest with ourselves. All of us in our own right believe that we have the answer, the key, we just think that we're perfect in a lot of ways, And then sometimes We don't want to listen or change the habit of hearing people and seeing people. And when I say listen and seeing people, you can know someone for years and years. But then when you finally change the habits of being open, listening, even though you might not agree, even though you might think your way or your thoughts are better than another's, but when you get to that point that you change that habit and you really start to listen to a person, or you really start to see a person, and in listening to a person is really seeing a person. Because once you listen, then you get to realize why this person might move in this way, why this person does things the way you all the long thought was a wrong way. It can allow you this gateway to their trueness. In other words, I was talking to a friend the other day, and we had this conversation, and I shared some things, and I knew this person for so many years. And the things that I shared with him, he was like, I never knew that. And why didn't you share that? And wow, his reaction was like, you can tell that he was listening. You can tell that even after all the years of knowing this person, that he finally saw me. When you know a person, and y'all know I always talk about not just like intimate relationships. I talk about friendships. I talk about family. So when I'm talking about a situation, whatever situation you're in, like if you have a family member, a friend, or whatever, that don't see you, that's not listening to you, that don't get you, because they're not willing to change the habit of being open to your world, being open to your lifestyle, because they believe that their lifestyle is the only way, is the best way. When people start to respect each other as individual beings, as individual spirits and souls, and acknowledge that God created us all in this unique way. So therefore, that's why as we go through life, we will pick up habits because that might not benefit us, because we're learning. We're learning who we are. We're learning about life. We're learning how to maneuver. So therefore, we'll pick up habits of staying in a comfort zone, not willing to walk into the unknown, being fearful of what's on the other side of the unknown. That is a habit that is not benefiting you, because we were put here to learn more about us and about the world. And as we learn, we can benefit not only ourselves, but we can benefit our loved ones, and we can add more to the world. And when I say add more to the world, I don't want you to say, oh my gosh, ADionne, I'm not a missionary. I'm not about to go over here to another country and help people that, don't have what I have. I'm not saying that you have to do that. If that's what's in you, definitely go out there and venture into that. Look more into it. That might help you put more pieces to your life together. But what I'm saying, when I say add to this world, when you know who you are, then you are happier, which means that when you're happier, everybody that comes around you will feel your energy, and they become happier. They want to know, what is it that you changed? One minute you was this angry person and negative, and because you decided to change your mindset and start looking at things that happened to you in the past that might have upset you or might have hurt you or harmed you in some type of way, you look at that situation as this is the past. It happened, whether it was your fault or not. But you look at it and you say, you know what? It happened. It didn't feel good. So I need to see what is it that I can learn from this situation, And again, if it was some type of abuse, I always tell y'all, no, that is never your fault because you're abused, And the other person that is the abuser understand that they are abusing because they are hurting too. And so because they're hurting, the first person closest to them, they release in that way because that's all they know. And so if you are on that flip side, changing your ways, changing that habit and learning and getting to the root of why you are an abusive person, why you are a negative person, digging deep. What is it that happened to you to make you so angry? Figure it out. Take the time, Figure it out. Pray about it. Ask God to reveal to you what it is. If you already know what it is, I'm going to say 99.9 of the answer is forgiveness. I know that sounds like bullshit, but no, it really is. Forgiveness. When you forgive yourself, even if it wasn't your fault, but you forgive yourself for feeling any type of shame or any type of guilt, from what was done to you that was harmful, that hurt you. It could be a heartbreak. It could be somebody that you believed in, whether it be a family member, a friend, or a relationship, and they took you for granted. They took advantage of you. But again, I say, we treat people how to treat us. Now, that is something, a habit that you have to change so that you can get greater benefits out of life. Learning how to say no to people when you really don't want to go to their event. You know that you really don't want to do a certain thing for them. Will it hurt their feelings? Yes, maybe so. But all in all, people can respect who you are. If that's not what you want to do, if that's not, what you want to take part in, they're going to either make the decision to be mad forever or make the decision to respect you and understand that that is a part of your makeup, and then decide how they want to deal with you from that point. That's it. We don't have to deal with each other. We don't have to be a friend to someone. We don't have to, just because we have family members, we don't have to always be around that family member unless you're married or you got kids. But even still with that, changing your outlook to the ones that are closest to you on them. Changing the way you feel they need to run their life. The habit of thinking that they're living life all wrong. That's a habit, whether you realize it or not. Because it's a thought. And it's a repeated thought. So therefore, it's a habit. You think all the time when you see your kid or your spouse or your friend and they're not living the way you believe that they should live, you think it's all wrong. You believe that they're supposed to do things in this way and then their life will be better. No. You need to break that habit, and you need to appreciate people for who they are and where they are in life. Because everybody has their own pace of movement. And again, this show is all of, yes, my opinions, but my opinions through my experience, through observing my friends, my family experiences. You don't have to take these suggestions or advice or whatever you want to call it. I'm just sharing stories. I'm just sharing outlooks so that you can start looking at life differently, looking at yourself differently, looking at people differently, and deciding for yourself, what are the habits that are not benefiting me? What are the habits that I can work on breaking, just to see how it would benefit me if I broke this habit, this mindset, this attitude, this, way of always running late, the habit of being late to everything. That is a horrible habit to have. I've taught my kids to always make sure you're 15 minutes early, at least, at the latest. If you got a place to go that you have no clue of where it is, you definitely want, especially if it's far, you want to get like at least an hour, half an hour head start, because you never know if you're going to run into traffic. And you don't even know where the place is. You never know if you're going to get lost. And therefore, if you have this habit of always waiting until the last minute to do things, to go places, you'll be late, and sometimes that can cause you to miss out on the best opportunity that could have came in your life at that present moment, because there always are going to be more opportunities down the road, but you might have just missed one of the best opportunities, all because you wasn't willing to change the habit of doing things at the last minute. You see how that can have a great impact on your life in a negative way, So I tell my daughter this, and I hate to blast on that, but she was one of those people that would wait till the last minute. So I had to get on her when she was living with me, like, listen, get your stuff together the night before. Because you like to sleep up to the moment, take your shower, get all of your stuff ironed, pressed, the night before. This way, all you got to do is jump up, wash your face, brush your teeth, put your clothes on, roll out. And because you have kids, do the same thing for them. Bathe them at night. It's simple adjustments. And when you choose not to make simple adjustments in your life, that's laziness. That's you cheating you. You know what I mean? You cheating yourself out of being lazy to break a habit that's not benefiting you. Think about it. Think about your life. Think about the past. With me, I had to break the habit of multitasking, trying to do everything all in one day. I have all of these projects going on always. I always have, maybe a regular job, or I'm always, doing something entrepreneurial, and I have to decide how to balance out my time. Before, I was not balancing out my time, and therefore I would wind up stopping, starting new things, ideas, dreams that all was just coming at me one after the other, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is out of control. How do I accomplish all of these things? Every time I wake up, I got a new dream, and then discovered that I have a new talent. Like, where did this talent come from? You know what I mean? And I had to learn how to control that. I had to learn how to pace myself. And I'm 48 and I'm just getting it. I always wanted to change the habit. I just didn't know how, because I was always moving, grinding, making sure life was working for me and my son, And so I couldn't I didn't have the time to just sit and just think and just be clear as to, oh no, ADionne, you need to take your time. You got all of these things going. Why don't you just break them up in days? And that's what I do now. I break things up in days, in months. I put priorities where, okay, I'm going to focus on this on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, this is what I'm going to work on. Just like with the podcast show, I said I'm going to come on Sunday and Wednesday. I could have picked Monday, Thursday, but I decided, okay, let me think about my schedule. What days are, I believe, would be beneficial to the listeners, and what days I believe I can be consistent with, Now, since I started the show, I've had all of these different changes in my life and, transformations, but nevertheless, I have stuck to my schedule because I made it a part of my schedule. I changed the habit of being all over the place. I decided on the time the date and the time, and I wrote it down, and I said, I'm sticking with this. Now, because this is my 98th episode, and I told y'all that some things are going to change when I get to episode 100. After episode 100, because of the different projects that I've been working on and that I'm going to release after my 100 episode, I'm only going to be coming on Sundays. I'm going to cut Wednesday out only because I'm changing my habit of realizing that you can't do it all. I'm not going to say can't, but you have to make up in your mind, how is it that you can be productive and efficient? What is it that you have to change? And for me, once I release the new projects, I need to have Wednesday clear because I'm going to be working on the new projects then. So these are little things that become big things in your life. Once you recognize, okay, I've been doing things this way for so long, but it's not getting me anywhere. It's not coming to fruition. I might complete the project, but it's not happening the way I want it to. My relationship is not flowing the way I want it to. Ask yourself, why? What is it that you as an individual can do? Because again, I always let you know, we can't change other people. They have to change themselves, and they have to be willing to change themselves. We can only suggest to them and share our feelings as to how their attitudes and their actions make us feel. And that is a part of changing a habit with you. If you're going through a relationship for so many years and you never speak up, you never say and sit your close one, loved one down, rather be family member, friend, whatever, and you never sit them down and first tell them the good qualities of themselves and tell them how you admire this and that about them, and then explain to them, it would be nice if, and that word if, a friend of mine has told me, is like a contingency, but I truly believe that when you say if to a person, sometimes, depending on you, with me, it means better things can happen. Let's say that. You know what I mean? I'm sharing, these are my feelings on this topic. This is my feeling on, our relationship or, the situation, the obstacle, whatever. This is my feeling with it. And I need you, I would love for you to take in consideration how I feel. so that we can work towards a greater relationship. And please share with me how you feel. How do you feel about some of the things that I do? How do you feel? How are they affecting you? Positively, negatively? Share them with me. And it has to be a two-way street. When you're working in a relationship, it always has to be a two-way street. It's just like with my son since he was young. I always allowed him to speak and have a voice and tell me what it is. Even though I'm his mother, even though I'm the older person, tell me how you feel about what I did. How, if something is bothering you as to an action that I took to make a certain thing happen, if it's bothering you, I want you to speak to me and let me know, so that I can respect your feelings, just like I want you to respect mine. It's always a two-way street. Not everybody, but people go through life and they look at things on a one-way, just that one-way street. And never realize that if they open it up to a two-lane street, then guess what? Life can get better. Rather it be you sitting down and talking to your boss, your coworker, your partner in business, and you're not agreeing with the way they do things, but you got this habit of just doing it just because you don't want to see the business fail, or you don't want to upset that person. Sometimes we got to upset people. When we are breaking habits of not having a voice. A lot of people go through life and never find their voice because they're fearful of the repercussions. Now, if you're in an abusive relationship, maybe you don't need the voice there. You need to get out. You know what I mean? You need to find a way to get out, So I believe that y'all get the point on what I'm talking about. And it does not matter your age. A lot of people think that, we're older, we're stuck in our ways. A friend of mine, we had a discussion about that. And once you get older and you're so independent, I had a couple people that I talked to about that. And some think that, oh, I'm older now, I don't want a relationship because I don't have room to, be changing the way I do things. And then you have some people that's like, oh, you know what? I'm getting older. Maybe it's some things that I can work on changing so that I can have a better relationship with someone. Again, same information downloaded, different reactions, different thoughts, different approaches, different results. This is how life goes. So I'm coming up on my time, but just to kind of show you, I'm going to give you an example of a celebrity. You take somebody like Steve Harvey, he admitted on several interviews of how reckless his life was and how he really didn't take certain things seriously in his life. And when it came to women, he was not the greatest, as a partner. But then when he met his wife, that on and off relationship, once she got to the point and she gave him the ultimatum, listen, this is it for me. Either you going to, what they say, get off the pot or something like that. I don't want to say, I don't want to curse, but even though I always curse. But, shit or get off the pot. I think that's the saying. So she pretty much gave him that ultimatum, and he realized that was one of the best women he's had in his life. And he realized that, you know what? It's time for me to change some bad habits so that I can have this relationship. And because he changed his bad habits, he's further than he's ever been in his career. Look at him. He has game shows, he has talk show, he has books, he has movies, where all before he was moving in his same habits. He just was a comedian. That was it. Which is huge, you know. He was a great comedian, always is, you know, in my opinion. He's a good comedian, you know. But he changed the way he did his show. He doesn't curse as much, which opened him up to different venues that he never would have been able to take a part in before. You know, he made certain changes with his habits. And he chose to use certain comedy in certain venues that he's in, you know, because he changed his ways of not using so much profanity. He's running a Family Feud game show, a family show, you know. He has all of these huge opportunities that maybe never would have came his way if he never decided to change some bad habits in his life. So I'm going to leave y'all with that thought, okay? This is a person that we can see on the TV, on YouTube, you know? Go back, listen to some of his interviews, and he'll tell you that he had to change some habits in order for his life to move in a different direction, in order for his life to start benefiting him the way he really believed it should have. Let's say it that way. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. Work on it, y'all. Write down your habits. Y'all know I like to give these assignments out. Write them down. Write down your good habits. Write down your bad habits. Be honest. It's just you in the piece of paper. You know what I mean? Paper is not going to talk back. Well, if it do, you better get up and run. But be honest with yourself. You owe that to yourself. And ask yourself, what habits can you change that has not benefited you? From person to person, from relationship to relationship, and start working on it, you know? Figure out new ways to work on it. Just be honest with yourself, okay? All right, guys, so I hope that you got something out of this show. And again, I want to thank you all for supporting Chronicles of Living podcast show, for sharing it and like it. I never really say anything about like it because I see how you definitely got to sign in and do all of this stuff. But if you really are really benefiting from this show, take the time, do that. Like the different episodes that's helping you out. Share them on social media. Take the link and share on social media. This helps the show out. It helps me out to know that I'm doing things to add to the world in a great way. And it helps me to want to continue to go on. So I thank you all over the world, because I know y'all listening all over the world. I love you guys. Big hug and kiss. Smooches, and live your life. Change those habits. Go out there and get those opportunities that you deserve, you know. Take a chance on yourself. I love you guys. This is ADionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from the world, saving you from yourself, from some real bullshit. And this is the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know us extraordinary folk, doing a damn thing the best way we can. I love you guys. Until Sunday, peace. Thank you for listening to Chronicles of Living, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. And if you are pursuing your dreams, I'm proud of you. Because the best part of life is when you decide to live. To keep up with us, please visit chroniclesofliving.com. Until next time, this is ADionne, your dream pusher. I love you guys.